Hey there, and welcome to my channel. My name is Laura, and today I wanted to share something that's been on my mind for some time recently. I wanted to explain a little bit about my experience in the hopes that it might help someone else. And if you're also going through this and you've stumbled across this video, you might be going through something similar right now. So I want to talk about losing friends. Losing friends is not new to me. It's not the first time I've had to end friendships. I've had very close friends when I was a kid that you just slowly grew apart from as you got older. I've had some misunderstandings and some conflict that caused us to go separate ways. But this particular time it's a little different, and it sat on my heart in a way that really made me reflect on myself. And as it was happening, and as I was right in the middle of it, it made me feel very emotional, and I was like a little embarrassed that it happened, and I wanted to keep it private. I wanted to keep it private from everyone. I didn't even tell my husband about it. It turns out he knew what was going on the whole time, which is why I love him. But that's not what we're talking about right now. The point is, now I feel like I have my emotions under control well enough to be able to share. It has something that has made me cry, but I am in a better mindset about it. I do not wish that you are also going through this. But if this is the reason that you clicked on this video, I hope that my story will help you through it. So let me give you some backstory. This was a group of friends that were around the same age. We met about 7 or 8 years ago. We were working in the same crappy job with the same crappy coworkers, and we bonded over that experience and being in that job together. All of us were in the same phase of life. We were married, or we were soon to be married. And us girls and our husbands or boyfriends, we all became friends. And so it was just a group of friends together. We would do game nights together and different hiking activities and just everything we did as a group. But they didn't have kids, and they didn't want kids. And so when I started having kids, our lifestyles soon kind of went on different paths. When I had just had one daughter, they were excited for me. They were supportive. And she was included in a lot of our activities. But even though that was the vibe I felt, I have a little bit more to say on that later. So because of my daughter, my schedule wasn't as flexible, and I wasn't as available to do the activities that we used to do and that they wanted to do, which meant I was not able to attend these activities as often. For example, one couple had a destination wedding. Amazing, good for them. I know it was exactly what they wanted, and I wanted that for them, but I wouldn't be able to have childcare to make it to their child-free destination wedding, which would take 2 days just to get there, and then probably even an extra day just to get back. So I needed 48 straight hours of babysitting for me to go, which is just completely impossible and unrealistic. It was really nice having a group of girlfriends, and I really enjoyed my friendship with all of the girls individually, and I didn't think anything was going on with our friendship. A few recent things happened that kind of clued me in. Clue, that's a board game pun, but something clued me in that things were changing in our friendship. One of these friends was going through a breakup, but she wouldn't share any of that information with me. She didn't feel the need to confide in me about it and what was going on in her life, while I know she was confiding in these other ladies. So, and she was even posting about it on like social media, but just wasn't interacting with me, even as I was interested in hearing what was going on in her life. So seeing that happen was kind of the moment that made me realize our relationship might not be as close as I thought it was. And it was the first time I kind of felt hurt from this situation. I DM'd her on Instagram. I was reaching out. I would comment on the story she was posting, being interested in her life. But I would get very little return interaction where it just didn't seem like she was interested in my life the same way. She would give a thumbs up, and that was it. So she wasn't straight up ghosting me, but just wasn't returning any effort. That's fine. I gave her a pass. Obviously, when you're going through a breakup, you've got some other priorities other than just messaging a friend on Instagram. But I have to say, I haven't heard from her again since then. And I do want to say that maybe I started this rift between us because I was invited to their different weddings and the wedding related activities, like I mentioned. Some of them I was able to make it to, and some of them I wasn't. So I understand that part of it is my responsibility because I was declining some of their invitations. But I feel like that's fair. I'm allowed to decline certain invitations for different reasons, and I didn't decline all of them. I really, really wish that I could have gone to all of them. It's not like I didn't want to hang out with them, but I just felt like after a certain number of no's, they just didn't want to ask anymore. And that means that I wasn't reliable as a friend, which is really disappointing because even though I couldn't make those big events, I still would like to have been their friend and seen them and learn about what was happening in their lives and be excited about them for the big events in their lives. Maybe meet up for lunch periodically or go for walks on the beach. Like, I want to be the lunch friend, but not the late night partying friend. But now it's at a point where none of that's even an option. Despite that thought, I know they're in no obligation to be my friend if they're not interested in doing so. And obviously they're not interested, as shown by their actions. People come in and out of friendship often. Like I said, I've definitely had friends I was close to that I'm no longer close to. But I think what hurts a little bit more is that it's happening with a group of friends. It's almost like that phrase is everybody hanging out without me. Because yes, literally they are all hanging out without me and not interested in extending an invitation. And I think that's why it hurts a little bit more. That it almost seems like they got together and made this decision to stop being friends with Laura, to stop being friends with me. The friend group didn't break apart. It's just me on an island broke off. And they're still together. What hurts more, it's not just one friend I'm not friends with anymore, but it's the loss of multiple friends, the loss of the friendships with their husbands and that community and those memories that we had together. And that's the thing I keep wrestling about, is that even after these, events happen and all this time has passed, I still wish that they would invite me to hang out. And I'm actually kind of torn because recently, if they had invited me again, I would have been so excited to see them, pick up where we left off, and I would have accepted their invitation. But I think now enough time has passed where I'm at the point where I would decline them if they had asked because of how they made me feel. But they're not going to ask. It's hard not to take it personally, but it is personal. It puts a doubt in your mind, you know, maybe I wasn't a great friend to them. And so looking back, I feel like I was a good friend, but it wasn't being reciprocated to me. So in some ways, that's what hurts more. It hurts that I wanted to be their friend so bad, but they didn't feel the same way. And that's, I think, why it feels so much like a breakup. It would have been different if it was a mutual thing, or if it was this big blow up and a big fight, and that would have explained so much more why it was happening. When we were all together, and we were all hanging out together, we would talk and we would be gossiping about mutual friends or about people that we didn't even know. And I know that they're doing the same thing about me behind my back right now. It simultaneously hurts my feelings that they would speak badly about someone that they supposedly cared about, and that they would talk badly about me specifically. But it's also hurts that I would be friends with people who would do something like talk badly behind someone's back, and how mean it is to do that. And I hope that by describing the situation now, you don't think that I'm bad-mouthing them, but that I'm explaining my experience with losing friends in a relatable way. There were a few things that I found out after the fact that I was clueless about at the time. Apparently I was already talked about behind my back. The first thing I found out years later, that when I would bring my daughter to game night or to a lunch or when we went on a walk, the consensus was that I always bring her with me, or you're always doing something with her. And like I had said, I thought we were all having a good time together, but apparently it was a burden and it was distracting that she was there. Another example is that they came to my bridal shower hungover. I thought they were just a little bit late, but they decided to party the night before without me, which, okay, I would have said no to that. It was the night before my bridal shower. But then they got so drunk that they were hungover the next day at an event that was important to me. I was completely oblivious to it at the time, but now, years later, I saw that maybe the friendship was always a little bit one-sided and uneven. And maybe I unintentionally stopped putting the effort in because I felt sort of extra, sort of left out. And I know I'm not faultless, especially lately when I've been a flake, but that's why I wanted to share this, because losing friends is hard, even if you see it happening, or even if you're part of the reason you're growing apart. I have come to the realization that that phase of my life is over, and I need to focus on what I have to be grateful in my life now, and then work on building better friendships moving forward with the lessons I've learned from this. And I think the biggest lesson I've learned is that you need more in common than just hating the same people. When it comes down to the core values and goals you have in life, you want friends with the same ones. Kids or no kids, being successful, the hobbies that you have, and things like that. It's like when you're looking for a life partner, you need the basics in common, and friendship works the same way. The important things in my life aren't relevant to their life, and I can't share my stories and my motherhood because they can't relate. Even if we're really not compatible as friends, and it's better that we're not in each other's lives, since there wasn't any closure, there was no specific answer as to why our friendship ended, I'm stuck wondering and agonizing about it, and that's when I start doubting myself and putting myself down for these people who, it turns out, don't actually care about me. I guess I see it like this. If my presence makes someone happy, I would rather not be in their lives, even if it's hard to admit that to myself. There was never any malice. Nobody said anything mean to me or really said anything to me at all. And that almost makes it worse that I don't have a clear reason why we're not friends anymore. I'm obviously wondering about it. I'm sitting here making this video. They weren't rude or really mean or we had a fight or anything like that. There isn't anybody to blame. It's just something that happened that I'm dealing with and working through, and I'm sharing the experience I'm having, and I felt the need to share with others who might be going through the same thing. Basically, we stopped wanting the best for each other, which is what you want in a friend. I want friends who love me and support me and are on my side and in my circle. And life goes on. I know that all of this would bother me less as time goes on. I was just really sad about the memories that I had at that point in my life. And I know that this is a really long video, so if you've made it this far, thank you for watching and listening and letting me share a bit of my heart. I'll see you next time.